All right, we have slightly dealt with fractions, but we're talking about serious fractions in your equations now. When there's equations that involve fractions, you must properly remove the fractions first. No one likes fractions. They're nasty. There's this top and the bottom. Does anyone know what the number on the top of a fraction is called? There's a name for it.
Numerator.
Good. And what is the number on the bottom called?
Denominator.
Good. So you have terminology. That's another advantage you have over my past class. I had no idea what those words mean. So there's something there. I need to work on your pace. There's two situations that you're going to see. The first one is the easier one, and you'd hope for this. If both sides of the equation are one fraction, do you agree that this is one fraction, a over b, and there's an equal side? Do you agree the right side is just a fraction?
Yeah.
In this situation, you do something called cross multiply. What does that mean? The top of the left side, you multiply by the bottom of the right side. That's where the a times by d comes from. And then the top of the right side, you times by the bottom of the left side. That's where you get the b times by c. Once you've done that, you literally do what I've been teaching you now. That's how you handle when the equation has one fraction on the left and one fraction on the right. So can we demonstrate that, please? And then I'll give you time to write. Is this one fraction on the left? Is this one fraction on the right? Okay, I'm going to cross multiply. So top of left, bottom of right, top of right, bottom of left. What's 3 times by... Actually, I'll just show the working. 3 times by 3 equals 2 times by x. What is 3 times by 3? 9. What is 2 times by x? What's the 2 doing to x? What's the opposite of timesing by 2? Divide both sides by 2. So your x is going to be 9 over 2. Does that cancel down at all? No. I wouldn't mark you down if you said x is equal to 4.5, because that is a correct statement. Okay? That's cross multiplication. I'll quickly do this one, and I'll give you 5 minutes to write. Do you have a fraction on the left?
Yep.
Do you have one fraction on the right?
Yep.
Is this kind of scary, where the top is more stuff, and the top here is more stuff? If you want to make it less scary, chuck brackets around it to group it up, so that you know you don't change anything. If you've identified to me that that's one fraction, that's another fraction. So once again, we cross multiply. Top times by the bottom on the right, top times by the bottom on the left. So what's the first one going to be? It's 3 times by, what's all of this? 2x plus 3 equals, what's this? 4 times by, good. Do you have a way of expanding brackets? 3 times, if I've got 2 x's, but I multiply all of that by 3, how many x's will I have? 6 x's. 3 times by 3. 4 times by x. And 4 times, careful, positive 4 times negative 2. Good. Do I have x's on both sides? How about any teaching that shows you how you handle them? Most of you will like x's on the left. So let's move all the x's to the left. What's the opposite of positive 4x? Take 4x. So you're going to have 2x plus 9 equals negative 8. What's the opposite of adding 9 to something? Be careful, this is a negative. I'm already on negative 8 on the left-hand side of the number line. So if I'm taking 9, am I going to go further left or go back to the right? Huh? Further left. So negative 8 take 9 is going to be negative 17. What's the 2 doing to x? Times it. So divide by 2, divide by 2. Your x is going to be negative 17 on 2. I don't think that cancels down. Right. Writing time. Get those examples down and that rule about cross multiplication. I'll give you 6 minutes. All right, this is where it gets a bit harder. I'd be a bit worried if you said that this process was difficult because you just times in 1 down to the bottom. This, I'll agree, is harder, okay? That's why it's a little longer in the notes. When either side of the equation is not just a single fraction. one fraction equals another fraction. When you've got more than one fraction on one side, you need to remember you can't just add and subtract fractions that have different denominators. This, 2/3 plus 1/3, are they the same denominator?
Yep.
So that is okay, I can add them together. If I've got 2/3 and I add 1/3 to it, I'm going to have 3/3. But this, 2/3 plus 3/4, I can't do that. Hopefully you've done that in previous years, but I'm going to try to show you now. I don't like doing it. I don't like saying, oh, you should have known that. Okay? This is not okay. I can't add thirds and quarters together. I need to get them the same denominator. So the simplest denominator to use is the product of all the denominators. What does product mean? What operation am I doing in maths if I'm finding a product? I'm timesing them together. So I'll just write for anyone who doesn't know. Times. The simplest denominator to use is the product, which is timesing, of all of the denominators. You must multiply the top and the bottom of each fraction by the number needed to get the new denominator to make sure you don't change the question. So what do I mean by that? This sounds weird, but when I show you what I mean, it's not too bad. We just said that we can't do 2/3 plus 3/4. Not okay. Why? They have different denominators. But what's the simplest denominator to use? The product of both the denominators. What's the product of 3 and 4?
12.
Good. The best denominator to use here is going to be 12. What do I mean by this bracket statement? You must multiply the top and the bottom of each fraction by the number needed. What number do I need to times 3 by to get to 12?
4.
So I need to times by 4. Why do I need to times the top and the bottom? If I'm timesing the question by 4, I'm changing the question completely. I'm not allowed to do that. But if I times it by 4 on 4, what is 4 on 4? If I times something by 1, am I changing it? No. You're allowed to do this. So, if I times 3 by 4, the denominator is now going to be 12. What number do I need to times 4 by to get 12? 3. Am I allowed to just times it by 3? No. What do I need to times the top by as well?
3.
Why am I allowed to times something by 3 on 3?
Because
Because 1. And I'm not changing anything if I'm timesing it by 1. So, when this is done, what is 2 times by 4? 8. What's 3 times by 4? 12. Plus, what's 3 times by 3? What's 4 times by 3? Are these the same denominators now? I can work with this. I can answer the question now. Therefore, 8 12ths plus 9 12ths, what's 8 plus 9? It's going to be 17 12ths. That is with just numbers. We have to do that with algebra eventually, okay? But this is a reminder in case it wasn't taught to you previously. I don't want to ignore it, so I'll give you, sorry, I didn't write this. 3 and 4 is equal to 12. You told me that, but I didn't write it. I left space. I'll give you some writing time for this, right the time. Give you like 4 minutes, and then we'll do an example. And then you're going to be freaking tired, and that's fine. We'll only do one example here. Is 2020, is freaking considered a swear word? I don't need to mute those up. I just need to remove that student's name twice.
Which did? 3 times, okay.
Which was the student? Yeah.
I know, I
It's
said it
3
once.
times in total.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, the
Oh,
first
that's
video,
one.
and then
the second
children's.
one, and you said, oh, I have to remove name.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh,
Oh my god.
what was the name?
I know, I'm just.
No, no, don't!
Yeah,
No, you're testing, you're pushing the button.
I know, I'm just that correct.
I'm just gonna have to mute the whole video. I'll just dub over it.
Yeah.
It'll just be silent and be like, hey guys, what's the G here? Unfortunately, live, I said a child's name over and over again. No, I like checking the mistakes. I like to show that it's live. Yeah, question.
I was just gonna say, don't you cut out the writing time, or just that left in video? That 6 minutes of writing time.
I'm leaving.
Oh, okay.
It's so like people watching can also use the writing. Sometimes YouTubers should like let their food cook and leave that in the video, like an 18-hour rescue video.
Just when you know it's recording, don't say each other's name. You can talk. There's no identifying.
Should identify everyone by number.
The person that said the S word yesterday is on YouTube.
It wasn't me.
Who was it?
It sounded like sheep, to be honest, so it's all good. We're all good. 2 minutes and then I'll do the example.
We love my. Who's it? I can't breathe.
Shut. I'm reading.
I like how she said shut. That's good. That's good. We're all being very uncancelable right now. Cancel culture. It offends me. One more minute. Okay, when you look at this example, you're actually probably looking at me and going, bro, you told me denominators. Is there a denominator here?
Yep.
There is, but other people may say there's not, because that's just a 6. But what is the denominator? Yes, okay. Once again, you prove to me that you have some ability. I'm helping you with the speed. Because last year, I had people telling me the denominator of 6 is 0. How is that incorrect? Because any whole number divided by 0 is infinity. That's not right. Any whole number has a denominator of 1. Well done. So, do I have denominators now? Can I just add them straight away? They're different denominators. What's the easiest denominator to use? The products of all the denominators. So write that off to the side. 1 times by 2 times by 5 is 10. So my denominator here is going to be 10. So rewrite this. 6 over 1. What do I need to times 1 by to make it into a 10? Can I just times it by 10? 10 over 10. Because if I just times it by 10, I've changed the question. If I times it by 10 over 10, I'm timesing it by 1, which is all good. Negative x plus 7 over 2. What do I need to times 2 by to make it 10? Good. Times by. Is that okay? I need to times it by 1, which is 5 over 5 equals 2x on 5. What do I need to times 5 by to make it into 10? Say it with your chest. Yes? 2 over 2. What's 6 times by 10? 60 over 10. Negative. I'm not going to actually work this out. I'm just going to put the 5 in front of the brackets to show that I want to multiply it by 5. Over, what's 2 times by 5? 10 equals, what's 2x times by 2? 2x times 2? Yeah, 4x over 10. Are the denominators all the same now? As soon as I've reached all the same denominator, I can completely ignore them. So now I've got a problem like this, which looks very similar to what you've been doing before. What do I have to do with the brackets? Expand them out. So rewrite this, 60. What's negative 5 times by x? What's negative 5 times by positive 7? Equals, I didn't do anything with 4x. Everyone likes the x's to be on the left-hand side. I'm going to troll you and put them on the right hand side. So there's 4 x's here. I've got negative 5x here. What's the opposite of negative 5x? Positive 5x. So if I've got 60, take 35 equals, what's 4x plus 5x? Is going to be 9x. What's 60 take 35? Good. What's the 9 doing to x? Well, it's timesing. To get rid of it, what do? Divide. What do I have to do on both sides? Divide. So x is going to be 25 over 9. That doesn't cancel down. Can you get that example down, please? After that, your homework and now. All timeline, all cues to end of, I think it was 5B.
Yeah, 5C is linear equations.
Yep, so we're not going to do the worded stuff. The plan was to get to there, but we're moving a little slower, and that's fine. We had our little talk already to the end of 5B. No, get on to it, please.